To get started, we of course need the CC2 badge. We need a USB-C cable, which is capable of transmitting data, and we need a little magnet. When we plug in the CC2 now, it might reboot because the battery has run out, but it will not be visible on the laptop. So to access the CC2's file system, while it is plugged in to your laptop, we tap a magnet between the gray and blue button quickly and then hold down the blue button while it is restarting. And now we are able to see the CC1 as a flash. So let's have a closer look at these files. We have here the alloc data JSON and unalloc data JSON, which basically are the files that define those two states. If we have a look at the alloc data.json, we see first a block for the global config. Here there are things like that the device should scan for BLE or it should transmit an iBeacon signal. We have a block with rules, so we can say if we press a certain button, we want to hide a specific element, things like that. We have a block for the NFC to define, for example, the endf string or other things here. And we have a network section where we define which networks should be used in the allocated state. Here, for example, we have K1 and B1, which are networks defined in the global config. We will have a look at that later. We also have a block for the user data, and then very importantly, the data views which are used in the allocated state. Now let's have a look at the global config. Here we have some general config on the top for the UI, for example. There's the possibility to enable a lock screen or mute alerts when they come in. And then we have the network section here where we define all the networks with, for example, SSID for the Wi-Fi and a password, which you should change to the one you're using. Then here there's some other networks for BLE, for example. So one for Cooper and one for GUT, which you can then reference in your alloc data or unalloc data. Then on the bottom, we have the MQTT server where it connects to, and the API for the kiosk manager where it gets its allocation data and the default access point for the kiosk. Then we also have the data view folder, which contains all the data views locally stored on the device. We have the image folder, which contains all the icons and the fonts. Then at the bottom, we have the unalloc data JSON, which from the structure exactly resembles the alloc data.json, but defines the parameters for the state of being returned to the kiosk. So if I have a look here at my unalloc data JSON, I can see that there is no Wi-Fi defined, and I want to change that. I checked in the global config that my Wi-Fi settings are correct, and now I will define here to use the Wi-Fi. Now to use that new config, we need to reboot the device again. Therefore, I will do the same magnet trick, put it behind the gray and blue button. And now after restarting, we can see that it is in fact using Wi-Fi now. In the next video, we will add the CC2 to the management backend and have a look at the MQTT structure.